section below. Let's move on and talk about the 5 takeaways and see what 5 things we can take away from that 2-0 loss at Stamford Bridge yesterday. And number 1 is Mickey maintains standards.
I thought he was the only one, well, not the only one, him and Romero mostly, but I think Mickey was probably just a bit better than him yesterday, maintaining his high standards, making sure his level didn't drop upon a sea of everyone shitting the bed around him, essentially. I thought he was a shining light. He made 3 tackles, 1 interception, 1 goal line clearance, completed 2 dribbles, and obviously he won 5 out of 9 duels. And I thought he was a shining light yesterday in that back line. If it wasn't for him, it could have been a lot worse in terms of the scoreline. And I think he still played pretty well despite the really bad result.
How many times are we going to sit here and say this about Mickey van de Ven? What a Rolls Royce a defender. I love that guy so much. Like I said as well, like him and Coutinho Romero seem to be the only ones stepping up for the team consistently well, week after week, no matter what the scoreline is. And how many times do we have to sit here and say, like, if it wasn't for Mickey van de Ven, we would have conceded so many goals today? Yesterday was an example of that. Arsenal was an example of that. And I think there have been endless amounts of examples of that this season. And, like, I dread to think where we would be this season without Mickey van de Ven and how many goals we would have actually conceded. Because last year was a record. This year, I think we're close to that record. And if it wasn't for him, I mean, we probably would have smashed that record, realistically.
100%.
So, yeah, let's move on to the second takeaway, and that is shocking away form.
Yeah, and it's obviously not the first time we've had that takeaway, but it really is put into perspective after this defeat how bad it's been. It's now 1 win in our last 8 away games, 2 wins in our last 11 away games, 18 goals conceded in our last 8, only 11 scored. So our aggregate score in our last 8 away games is 18-11 against. We've just been so lackluster away from home in recent weeks, and obviously just in form in general since that Villa game, it's only 2 wins in 7. Those 2 wins coming at home to Luton and at home to Forest, and obviously we've lost 4 of those 7 games since winning 4-0 away at Villa, where we really put ourselves in the driving seat for that top 4 space. So for one reason or another, first of all, away from home, shocking, but since that Villa game, it just seemed as though, I don't know whether we got ahead of ourselves or I don't know what's happened since that Villa game, but we've just dropped off a cliff since that game.
Yeah, let's be real, the away form hasn't been good all season. Apart from the initial spurt in the first 10 games of the season, I think we won 3 out of our 4 away games, I think it was. And then since then, we've won 2 from now to the end of the season.
2 in our last 11.
Yeah, 2 in our last 11, exactly. We won 3 out of our first 4, was it?
We won 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 out of our first
5.
6, yeah.
4 out of our first 6, right? And since then, we've won 2.
Yeah.
Which is mad. It's mad to think about, and it's just... We need to... It seems as though we're sitting here today, it just seems as though the wheels have completely fallen off. And it feels as though like the screws on the wheels have been loosening ever since those that initial spurt, and that everyone's just kind of losing belief, and he needs to do something to turn this around and get that belief back in this team, because we know that once this team has belief, and if we can play like we did initially this season, you know, we're onto something really good. But at the moment, things just seem to be spiraling out of control, which is really concerning. But that is the away problem. Number 3 is the wide problems persist.
Yeah, and again, really struggling for chance creation out wide. I'm really struggling to make an impact. We've played Son on the left this time with Johnson on the right, which a lot of people have been calling for. They had 6 crosses between them, 5 from Johnson, 1 from Son, 0 accurate crosses, only 1 successful dribble between them, 0 shots on target between them. To be fair, Son did have 3 key passes, with Johnson only having 1. But I think a few of them were when Son was into the striking position. So it's a really difficult at the moment for Spurs to make an impact out wide, and it's such a vital area for us. And it's just a problem that seems, especially recently, it's been such a big area where we just seem to struggle to make an impact. And yet again, as soon as you stifle our wide area, it's as if we don't really have another option to attack.
Yeah, and it's been going on for too long as well, this problem with our wide players. Timo Werner comes in, doesn't really fix it. with his lack of ability and lack of quality. No player that can come into this front line that we've got at our disposal seems to be able to come in and create chances or put it in the back of the net on a consistent basis, and that's really poor to see. Even Heung-min Son, as much as I love Sonny, a lot of people in the away end were very frustrated with Sonny last night. And since coming back from Korea, how many goals has he actually scored since coming back from the Asia Cup?
Well, I think he won Player of the Month 1 month, didn't he?
Yeah, but how many goals has he actually scored since coming back? Because I believe he was like third or fourth in the Golden Boot before.
Sorry. Son, when did he come? He came back at home to Brighton, didn't he? Since then, he scored 1, 2, 3, 4 goals.
In how many games?
4 goals in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, in 10 games.
10 games.
Not terrible.
Yeah,
1,
you wouldn't think
2,
it's terrible. I mean, if other players could do that with him.
Assists.
4 goals and 4 assists in 10 games. That's actually not too bad, to be fair. It's not too bad, to be fair.
But then again, 1 goal and 2 assists were in 1 game against Villa.
Yeah.
So that's 3 in 1 game. But still.
Take away the Villa game, then how many has he got?
So that's 5 in 9.
5 and 9. Look, in my opinion, as much as people like to criticise Son, I've never put the blame on Heung-min Son. I do believe that there are other aspects going his way, and I firmly believe that Heung-min Son is trying his best for this team. He's just falling short a little bit at the moment. And look, those goal numbers and goal contributions do speak for themselves, but you can probably agree with me as well that he's playing nowhere near his best recently.
I definitely can agree with that. Son is not been anywhere near as good as he was earlier in the season, in my opinion. Especially when I thought earlier in the season when he was playing up front, he was doing his all-round game a lot better, linking the play a lot better, getting involved with those little layoffs, like I was saying before. But I think recently that hasn't been at the same level. He seems tired. He does seem leggy and tired. I don't think anyone could disagree with that. But
why?
He's such a good player.
Why are these players leggy and tired right now? We've played like the minimal amount of games, the least amount of games that we could possibly have.
Difficult to say.
It's like you look at this Arsenal team that have played so many games this season, and they just seem. I mean, there was a period that they did look leggy, but they just seem to be at it at the moment. You're looking at Man City; they've played so many games; they're at it at the moment. We played the minimal and least amount of games, and we look leggy and tired and lacking belief.
That's the difference between top teams and us.
Yeah, I guess. But yeah, I completely agree with the takeaway saying this front line and forward line is just failing on all aspects at the moment, and we're finding it hard to create any sort of chances. So yeah, that's another indictment probably down to the personnel that we have there, and also Ange Postecoglou in the way he's getting his teams up for games. But let's move on to number 4, and that is lacking aggression.
Yeah, and I'm talking about in the middle here. And I thought there was a serious lack of intensity and aggression when it came to getting involved in duels yesterday. And this encapsulated by our midfield 3 of Sarr, Basuma and Deki. They only won 6 of their 21 duels yesterday that we're involved in. If I take Palmer, Gallagher and Caicedo, they won 22 out of 36 duels. So they won more duels than Tottenham competed for. In the middle 3, that is a big issue yesterday, and shows the difference between 2 midfielders who are combative, and not just combative, getting involved in duels, but winning them as well, and getting stuck in and not giving us a moment's rest, compared to us, where not only are we not getting involved in that many duels, we're not even winning the duels we're getting involved in, and that's a big problem. Deki was the biggest culprit, only winning 1 of his 10 duels yesterday.
It's embarrassing, especially away at Chelsea. At a London rival, after losing the North London derby in the fashion that we did, you would expect them to put some aggression into it, to show how much you were hurt in that Arsenal game and come out with a bit of fire in your belly and go and win your duels, go and win your 50-50s, go and put a bit of heart into it. And that's not what we saw yesterday. And that's one of the most things that hurts me about the game yesterday, you know. A game against Chelsea, a lackluster Chelsea team that you can impose yourself on this Chelsea team, and they just didn't do that. And that was another thing. As much as the chance creation, which I said is a hallmark of an Ange team, aggression is as well, and winning your duels is a massive hallmark of an Ange Postecoglou team, and we're just a shadow of that at the moment. So that's a really hard one to take. But let's move on to the fifth and final takeaway, and that is battle for Europa.
Yeah, Tottenham now obviously closer to 6th than we are to 4th at the moment. 6 points away from Man United. We do need 2 wins to guarantee that spot. Obviously, Man United are 6 points behind, but can only get a maximum of 66 points. So Tottenham, obviously, I do think they still got a superior goal difference, I believe, to Man United. I think they should do.
Yeah, Man, you got +1.
Yeah, and we've got plus
13.
So obviously, we do get the job done against Burnley and Sheffield United. That'll be enough to seal a Europa League spot. But yeah, it's now definitely a battle for Europa League at this point.
I'm telling you now, though, I'm not confident that we even win the Burnley game. The way Burnley are playing at the moment.
But are you confident Man United win 4 out of 4?
No, but you got Newcastle there as well.
Yeah, but they got a maximum of 71.
Yeah. No, not 70. 61, you mean?
They've got, 61? No, they've got... they can get 12 points to 65.
Oh, sorry. 65.
So we'll need, same thing. 12, we'll need 5 points.
So who do Newcastle have?
They've got Burnley away, Brighton at home, and they've got to play each other.
Mm.
So I think that probably...
I'm more worried about Newcastle than I am Man United,
that probably
to be
kills
fair.
it, I would say.
Depends. It depends, because one of them can catch us. So the one that wins probably doesn't kill it.
Are they going to win all 4 games?
So remind me who they got. They got
Burnley
Burnley
away, Brighton at home, United away, and Brentford away.
I mean, they probably won't, but it's a possibility.
Yeah, you never know, I guess.
It's a possibility. Looking at our games, I think we lose at Anfield on the weekend. We lose at Man City. That leaves us with Burnley and Sheffield United. I do think we go to Sheffield United last game of the season and win.
Home to Burnley.
Look, you'd expect us to beat Burnley at home,
But
even the way
they've
we're
also got
playing at the moment. I know.
Mm.
But
So Burnley got a big say in the
top 6
battle for Europa.
But Newcastle are playing much better than us at the moment.
Yep.
And you're looking at Burnley, what they're fighting for at the moment. They're not losing many games at the moment. They're playing with an aggressive nature. They've kind of shut it out at the back a little bit. So if they can be defensively solid and come to our stadium, I mean, we're not creating chances against anyone at the moment. I'm not confident in that Burnley game right now.
I think we're still beating those kind of teams though at home at the moment.
Just about.
Yeah, but still winning them.
But Burnley are coming into this with extra motivation at that stage of the season.
That's also a worry. But yes, if Newcastle win all their games, I guess it's still possible for them. Same with Man United. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. But at the moment, that's the state of play.
I guess both of them. Yeah, that's what you're saying, right? Both of them do need to finish above us if we're going to drop out Europa.
Yeah.
So 5th or 6th doesn't really make that much of a difference, does it?
Well, I think it might depend on. Does it depend on what if Villa win the Conference League or not?
Why would that depend on that?
Because at the moment it's saying only 5th. Does it depend on who wins the FA Cup? I'm trying to think. Because
who's in the FA Cup final? Man U, Man City.
Yeah. Maybe not. Maybe if Man U and City win it, I think it then drops down to 6th.
If City win it, don't Man U get in the Europa League because they're runners up?
I can't remember what the rule is anymore. I can't remember if they changed it or not. I know Liverpool won the League Cup. So because League Cup goes to Conference League.
Conference League, yeah. So that space goes to the league.
Right, that goes to 7.
But we only get 1 space in the Conference League or 2 spaces.
1 space, I believe.
So there's no space for the league originally.
That
for the
can't be
Conference
right.
League.
Is that right? I don't know if this is right. I can't remember. Anyway, I'm not sure. What? Maybe the chat can tell us. What's the state of play?
Keith Ryan says 5th and 6th get in.
It used to be that the runners-up of the FA Cup...
They seem to change it every bloody year.
It used to be the runners-up of the FA Cup, but I think they changed it. Man City is a... Wait, wasn't it?
I mean, I've been assuming all season that 5th and 6th get Europa League. Or not all season, but in this run-in.
No, it doesn't count anymore. Goes to league position.
Okay, so 5th and 6th then.
So 5th and 6th. Okay.
So I think
but if Man United win the FA Cup...
Yeah.
And finish outside the top 6... then they get it.
Do they get it?
Then they get the Europa. Then they get
United
it,
ain't
don't they?
beating Man City in the final.
So if they, right, so if they finish 6th and win the FA Cup, they
Yeah,
get it.
Z Gold says if Man United win the FA Cup, they get Europa League. If City win it, 6th gets Europa League.
Right, so that only affects us if we finish 7th, then I guess.
Yeah.
No, if we
No,
finish
it
6th,
affects us if we finish 6th.
if we finish 6th and Man United finish 7th, and then win the FA Cup.
Then they give us Europa. They give
Yeah.
us conference,
Yeah.
and they take Europa.
That'll be so
City
Spurs.
fans on all aspects this
That'll be
season,
so
guys.
Spurs. That'll be so Spurs.
You know what? I can see that happening. I just said before, like, there's no chance Man United beat Man City in a final, but
If
that is the situation,
they definitely do.
But anyway, that is your 5 takeaways. Let us know your comments in the comments.